So, did unicorns actually exist? I mean, for centuries, we've basically imagined them as these elegant, magical horses, right? Just gracefully prancing through misty, mythical forests. But what if I told you the truth behind a massive, one-horned beast walking the earth isn't found in some fairy tale, but is actually rooted in a rugged, intensely prehistoric reality? Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are completely blurring the lines between ancient mythology and Ice Age paleontology to investigate the fascinating case of Elasmotherium, better known as the Siberian Unicorn. Here is our official docket for today's Explainer. First, we'll meet the Siberian Unicorn. Then, we'll look at the anatomy of this Ice Age giant, dig into the missing keratin horn, explore its overlap with early humans, untangle the extinction mystery, and finally, pit science against the myth. Okay, let's dive right in. Section 1. Meet the Siberian Unicorn. You know, when we think of unicorns, we picture these delicate, magical, maybe even supernatural creatures. But Elasmotherium, it was a massive, incredibly powerful Ice Age rhinoceros. It wasn't out there casting spells. It was a rugged, tank-like survivor of the Pleistocene epoch, an era completely dominated by dramatic, freezing ice ages. Moving on to Section 2. Anatomy of an Ice Age giant. Let's look at what made this beast so incredibly unique. 2 meters. To put that into perspective, that is roughly the height at the shoulder for the large individuals. Just imagine walking up to a rhinoceros and having to look it straight in the eye. Actually, because it had relatively long legs compared to our modern, more compact rhinos, it had a much taller, almost horse-like appearance. And those long legs, they were perfectly adapted for life on the vast open steppes and grasslands. This thing was a giant grazer. It used its massive teeth to process incredibly tough vegetation, and it needed absolutely enormous amounts of food to maintain its bulk alongside neighbors like woolly mammoths and giant bison. All right, Section 3, the missing keratin horn. This brings us to the core of the paleontology debate. To really solve the mystery of its horn, we need to talk about keratin. Keratin is the exact same structural protein that makes up your hair and your fingernails. But here is the scientific dilemma. Keratin decays. It decays pretty quickly. So we don't actually find the physical prehistoric horns. What we do find is an enormous, thick, bony boss right on the skull, which proves, without a doubt, that a massive horn was absolutely there. But notice the key word we have to use here, reconstruct. A massive horn base is a hard scientific fact, totally supported by the school evidence. But those spectacular, dramatic, artistic drawings you see of a meter-long horn jutting forward like a lance, that is a reconstruction. It's an incredibly educated guess based on anatomy, sure, but it's not based on direct measurements of a fossilized horn. Which brings us to Section 4, overlap with early humans. And, guys, this is a massive plot twist. For a really long time, the consensus was that Elasmotherium went extinct roughly 200,000 years ago. But then, a major 2018 study dropped a total bombshell. Radiocarbon dating showed a brand new survival date of 39,000 years ago. This is huge. It means they survived much, much later than we originally thought. And they actually shared the Eurasian landscape with early modern humans. Now, we do have to be scientifically cautious here. There are no confirmed ancient texts, cave paintings, or direct archaeological proofs of human encounters yet. The temporal overlap is a fact. They were literally on the same continent at the exact same time. But there's no definitive chain of evidence showing that early humans regularly hunted them or recorded seeing them. We just don't have that proof. Let's look at Section 5, the extinction mystery. How did a giant like this disappear? Its downfall was very likely a tragic domino effect. First, the climate shifts rapidly. Because of those rapid shifts, their specific open grassland habitats began to shrink. That means their food sources absolutely plummeted. And ultimately, giant herbivores like Elasmotherium simply starved when the highly specialized world they relied on disappeared. Because extinction is rarely just one single event, right? It's compounding pressure. You have shrinking grasslands that fragment the population, making them incredibly vulnerable. You add in the potential for disease, demographic stress, and maybe, just maybe, pressure from human expansion, and you end up with a perfect storm that brings a species to its end. Let's wrap things up with Section 6, Science versus the Myth. Time for a final fact check. So, breaking down the case file. It is scientifically proven they lived in the Pleistocene, they were giant herbivores, and they had a massive horn boss. What's uncertain? Well, the exact length of that horn, how thick their hair was, and their social behavior. And what is purely speculative? The idea that they directly inspired the unicorn legend. There's just no direct chain of evidence connecting these specific fossils to the fairy tales. In fact, we don't really need a prehistoric ghost to explain where the myth came from. Ancient travelers in parts of Asia and Africa were already encountering real living rhinos. Through centuries of a giant game of telephone, storytelling, exaggeration, and wild artistic imagination, descriptions of regular, modern rhinos could have easily evolved into the magical unicorn legend all on their own. But I want to leave you with this one truly evocative thought. Just imagine standing out on a freezing, wind-swept Ice Age steppe 40,000 years ago. What would ancient humans have thought if they had actually seen the Siberian unicorn walking across the horizon? A towering, horse-like giant with an enormous horn rising from its head. Whether they inspired the myth or not, the fact that Earth's actual evolutionary history produced a creature this extraordinary shows us that our prehistoric reality is honestly just as captivating as our wildest legends. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I hope you walk away with a totally new appreciation for the incredible science of paleontology. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.